our group have The Power of Habit. We really enjoyed this book, and we hope that after this presentation you get interested in also read this book. First, I want to tell you a little bit about the author. Charles White. He studied history at Yale, and he got an MBA from Harvard. He also works as a reporter at the New York Times, and he writes magazine articles for the New York Times, the New Yorker, and the Atlantic. He won the Pulitzer Prize for the economics in 2013. There was a series of articles focused in Apple, and his book, The Power of Habits, is in the bestseller list of the New York Times, the Amazon.com, and USA Today for the best book to read. Okay, but then, what are habits and why he implies the habits have some power? First, I want to explain you what is a habit. In the words of the author, and as habit is defined, habits are the choices that all of us deliberately make at some point and then stop thinking about them but continue doing often every day. So think what you do every morning when you wake up. What are the first things that you do? You go to the bathroom, you drink water, you brush your teeth. In some point of your life, that was a decision that you made. And then you stop to think about it and you keep doing it. And maybe you don't know, you think that it's just your routine or it's what you do, but it's actually a habit. Then you stop to think about it, but your brain keeps doing it. So the book is divided in 3 parts. Habits of individuals is the first part, and is the one that I'm going to talk about. First, I'm going to explain you how habits work. So habits exist because the brain needs to save time, and because the brain has to process a lot of information. It's the master part of our bodies and has to take care of everything that we think, talk, and process. So the brain does something called chunking. That is when they convert a sequence of actions into an automatic routine. We don't have to think every day how to drive a car, or after that we go to vacations and we come back, we don't have to learn again how to drive a car. Because the brain stores all that information, and the basal ganglia is the one that actually keeps that information there and knows when to trigger the routine. So, I'm going to explain you how a habit is born. For a habit to be born, there is something called the habit loop. The habit loop has 3 things: a cue, a routine, and a reward. In the book, the author explains this with an experiment that MIT researchers did with rats and chocolate in a lab. But I know that this can be a little bit confused, so I'm going to explain it with something that we do every day. When I wake up in the morning, I feel really, really hungry. So my cue is being really hungry. And my routine is go immediately to the kitchen to eat something, and my reward is that I don't feel that antsy to eat. So I understand that my cue is feeling the hunger, and my routine is immediately go to the kitchen, and my reward is feel complete and being able to think again like a human being, being super kind. So those are my cues, my routine, and my reward. But I could have other kind of habits that are not as good. So how to change bad habits? Well, the bad news is that habits actually never disappear. But the good news is that you can do something to change that habit. So let's say, for example, that my habit is actually go and eat candy every time that I wake up. That would be a bad habit eventually because I would get fat and it wouldn't be very good for my body. So if I know that my cue is being hungry, and I know that my routine is eat candy, and I know that my reward is feeling again like a human being, I can change my routine for something that change that feeling. Okay, but if that is change a bad habit, how we actually create new habits consciously we want to create that habit, because when we were reading this book, we came up with the question, okay, I had all those habits that I didn't know that I was starting as a habit, but how I create new habit. And the most common one is how I do exercise as something good. Well, to create new habits consciously, you need something that powers this habit loop, something that actually starts the cue, the routine, and the reward. So to empower up to craving, the brain needs to actually tell you like, hey, we have to do this so I can get this. You have to find something that interests you enough for your brain to start to tell you like, hey, so I want this, but to have this, I have to do all this. Please move and do it. And now, my classmate, you is going to explain you more about this.
Thank you, Claudia. I will move on to talk about the golden rule of habit change. According to the research, the habit cannot be deleted or extinguished at all. It can only be replaced by a new habit. So what's the golden rule of the habit change? It is said to shift the routine but keep the original cue and reverse. It's a little like Claudia mentioned a few minutes ago. Keep the same cue and reward, but you have to change the routine, like this picture shows that. If you feel tired or you feel boring, you want to take some alcohol, that is your old habit, and then you feel relaxed, you feel happy. But then you have to replace the old routine. Instead, you hang out with your friends or chat with your friends or do something what you are interested in. Then you get the same reward, you feel happy, you feel relaxed. That is what we can do to is that enough? No. Just changing is not so easy. You have to have your belief. You don't need believe in God, but you do need to believe that things will change. Maybe you have your religional, maybe you believe in God, or maybe you have your own religion. Anyway, I can tell you my experience. It's my own story. I have a brother who is 8 years older than me. He had been smoking for 30 years before he quit it. We persuaded him several times, but never worked. 12 years ago, my father passed away, and then my brother claimed that he would quit smoking. Why? We asked him. He said, I had a dream. I dreamed our father, and he was very worried about my health. So I decided to quit smoking. Whenever he felt want to smoke, he just walk out and put all his back into working, or sometimes drinking tea or chatting with us. Finally, he succeeded. So that is why the belief is so important. You can get support from a group. You can find a group with the same belief with you. The habit not only exists in our individual life, it also can exist in an organization. In any organization, there must be many habits. Among all of the habits, there is one most important. That is the keystone habit. Look at this picture. If I take away this red stone, what will happen? Yes, all of the stone will fall down. So, this red stone is the keystone. The keystone habit in the organization will start a chain reaction like the domino effects. So how can we find the keystone habit? We have to find a small win in that organization. Let me explain it with an example. In the US, 1960s, the gay rights organization stopped moving on because they received a series of failure. They can't make any progress. In 1972, the Library of Congress received a letter requesting put all of the books about homosexuality together on a special shelf. The library feel it's okay, so they agreed, and they put all of the books onto the same shelf. And then the gay rights organization cited this victory and spread out, and then the movement move on, and they finally promote the gay rights action. Look at this picture. The Keystone habit not only works in the organization, it also works on individuals. Just like Phelps, I think you must know him, the swimming champion. In 2008, in the Olympic Games, these things happens in one of the final swimming. When Phelps jumped into the swimming pool, later he found that his goggles was full of water. If it happened on us, what we will do? We had to take off our goggles, right? But Phelps just followed his own habit, keep swimming, and count how much stroke he need to touch the wall. At last, he hit the world record. So the Keystone habit always works on individuals and organizations and make all of us success. Thank you. The next one should be Yusong. Welcome.
So first I want to ask everybody, do you guys drink coffee?
Yes.
Yes. So if you guys think of the coffee, the first thing is what store you guys always drink? The answer is Starbucks. Starbucks is maybe it's the best chain store for the coffee in all around the world. So I want to talk about this chapter is the habit when the successful of the Starbucks. How can Starbucks be so successful in all around the world? So could you turn the next page? In the August, I have been to the first store in this first Starbucks. They are located in the Seattle. Actually, it's not too big store. Just about like maybe just can sit about 30 people in this store. So just about like 40 years, and they can be a very nice store. So the most important thing is for the leadership to leader the MP. They use about the habit. So they have two keys of the Starbucks. The success. The first thing is they encourage the MPs to use their own internet and creativity. And second thing is they are planning of the retention for those interest points when their pen and temptation are the strongest. Could you take the next page? For the personal habit, we can learn in this chapter is about if you want to do one thing and you should have so much powerful for that. Actually, like you do all things for yourself and don't follow any orders, and then you can to more easy have the powerful and hobby as well. If you have a really good powerful, and then you can change any bad hobby and to replace that be a good hobby. And the power of how leaders spread the hobbies through the accident and science. So right now I talk about the story of the Rhode Island Hospital. What happened? actually, this hospital is one of the best hospital in America. And about early 2000s, they have a very big accident of the hospital because for the hospital leadership, they have really bad habit for the employee. They don't care about how feeling for the noise, for the doctor. So about like 5 years later, they have really big accident for the room in the hospital. So they have so big insurance influence and so big problem of that. So maybe someone died in that time. So how important of habit to the organization? Actually, I have my father's friend. In this year, they lose about $1 million in 2 months because they have a really big problem of the manage their employee. They sell the product to the all around the world, and they are located in the Shenzhen. The company is they opened about 10 years company, but in this year they just lose so much money because they don't care about the house feeling for the employee, and they're always without really good control when the like in the morning they don't care about the employee too late or just unsafe for the work. So they also has a really big accident for that time for the last month. So for the leadership, it's really important to have a nice habit to the worker and employees, and organizations habit only become a possibility among the leadership in the face of the climate. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
In chapter 7, the title is How Target Knows What You Want Before You Do. It's talking about the company's accumulates the shopping habits. What does it mean? It means that the company study the shopping habits of customers and predict what they want and what they are interested in. How do the companies predict and study the shopping habits? The researchers and statisticians from some big companies, they like targets. They learn and understand the shopping habits of American, and they will cost a lot of money and use the technology to collect the data on their customers. Their purpose. The companies research and understand their shopping habits in order to convince their customers to spend more and so that they can get a lot of benefits. On the other side, they can provide convenience and services for the people to consume, because they can give accurate consumption services and demands, so that they can satisfy their customers. For example, online shopping. Online shopping is a way for companies to research and study the shopping habits, such as Amazon and Taobao. I use Taobao for example. Taobao is very popular in China, and when people buy something online, they will leave some data on the companies and their computers. The customer's computer will show something what they often search by or what they are interested. That is the shopping habits. It's more convenient and accurate, and it can help companies to study and predict what their shopping habits, and it can provide convenient and accurate services with their customers. When I was in China, I often buy something on Taobao, and if I very love this thing, and I always search it and look about what I favorite. And after a while, my companies will often show some production what I really interested, and it was very convenient to help me choose my favorites. Thank you.
In the last two chapters, the author is talking about the habits of society. So one of the examples he's given would be Montgomery bus boycott. I don't know if you've heard about this. When in US, in the buses, the African American people weren't allowed to sit in front. So there was seats for white people, then kind of middle section, and the section for black people. And one of the women, Rosa Parks, she sat in the middle section, and when the white person came, she didn't give up her seat. So she wasn't the first one who did this, but she was arrested and sent to prison for this. So she was a very well-known person in her community, and she did a lot of good work. She was a member of different clubs, and she was well connected with the different kind of people. So, and she became a center of all the civil rights movement. So, and this movement had a great leader, Martin Luther King Jr., who once said, "We must meet hate with love," during this movement. So, and the author is trying to figure out the formula of the movement, which depends on the habits of individuals. So his formula is that the movement starts because of the social habits of friendship. So this Rosa Parks, she had so many friends, but it doesn't matter how many close friends you have, you can change the society only because of your friends. So the second part, which was very important, was the habits of community and the weak ties, which holds neighborhood and the clans together. So all other people around her was very supportive as well. So friends of friends, and the people who somebody knows. So the author said that the peer pressure is very important in the social movements. And and no movements would be able to survive if they didn't have a very strong leaders who can incorporate the new habits in people and create a fresh sense of identity. So this is how all this movement starts and progress and made a huge change in the American society. So the next chapter was about the neurology of free will, and it gives us example of one of the examples about a man who killed his wife when he was asleep, and it's called fear figure, like night fear. So it was accident. So he was sleeping and he thought somebody is robbing the house, and he thought he fought the robber, and as a result he killed his wife because he didn't know this was wrong. So, and at the end he was freed by judge, and the judge told that you didn't do this on purpose, so you couldn't control your habits. So, and everybody was very sympathetic of him. So, and the other example was the lady who started gambling, and she gambled away all her money, all her parents' inheritance, and everything. So, but she had to pay fine for this. So, and the author is telling us why is it the society was so sympathetic to the man who actually killed the wife, and they were very much against this woman who gambled. So it's not a big deal. But she had a choice. So she could continue gamble, or she could just leave and just don't waste all the money. So whether the man, he didn't have a choice. So he couldn't control his habits. So the whole idea of this book was not tell us about just our habits, but to help us to understand that our habits, it's not our destiny, we can change it, and he was giving us the way how can we change it. He gave us the formula how most of the habits work. They're all very different, but it's still you can do this. So any habit can be reshaped. So very important to follow these 4 steps to identify routine, like we saw in all the previous files. Experiment with the words, and very important to isolate the cue which triggered the habit, and have a plan how can you fix it. So you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that you can change it if you want to change it. So, and the real power of habit is that you're the one who choose what your habit will be. So, well, this is just example of the person with the good habits. So if you want, you can read it like good habit. And he had a lot of good habits. Some of them was like he didn't sleep too much. It was enough for him to sleep 5 hours a day, and he didn't need coffee or tea to use his work. He didn't eat too much, and he had a very healthy lifestyle. And also, I read that all his suits was the same, so he didn't have to waste his time to choose which suit to wear. This was one of the habits we can all implement. And yeah, that's it. And this is our debate, which the famous debates, which you can see in the pictures. So the questions we had for the debate